and this is your safe space to discuss all things women's sports. So make sure to tune in, make sure to come in. It's going to be a radio broadcast of whatever you want to talk about when it comes to women in sports. So let's get things flowing and running as best as we can. Alrighty. So right now, we've had the first game of the second week of the AU. I uploaded a video. If you want to check that out, that'll be more than awesome if you do so. But there is good things happening at this point in time. Right now, it's week two, game eight. Uh, I wasn't counting it when I recorded the video as this is um, the like seventh game. I was counting it more like this is the first game of the second week. I like doing it that way. Um, but yeah, so far the leaderboard of the AU Pro Volleyball League is looking like this. Number one, we got Thompson Jordan. Number two, and this is counting out for the game leaderboard of the game versus Thompson and Hoffman. So the game versus Hoffman, we got number one, we got Thompson. We got at number two, we got Hancock. We got Hoffman at number three. Number four, we got Matt Cage. Number five, we got Abercrombie. At number six, we have Bugs. At number seven, we have Pinoy, which she's an amazing Thai player. Then we have Nunvaler. Nunvaler, she's number eight. Number nine, we have Cilio Pereira. And then at number 10, we have Haynes. Pretty good players for this game. I'm really stoked when it comes to Pinoy Panjanut is a great uh, volleyball player from Thailand. I actually wrote an article about her like a while back, and I really love what she does. I really love how she plays, and that's stuff that I would like to see more often than not. That's how I love to undergo myself through women in sports. The ones that are playing amazing, see more of that, because I like diversity. I like diversity. I don't want to see just the American players being the best. I want to see from my island Puerto Ricans, and when I say I want to see Puerto Ricans, Asians, and all that, I'm not saying I want to see them thrive straight on their or place of origin. No, I want to see them thrive on the big leagues, on the leagues that are internationally recognized. That's where I want to see them thrive the most. Cause sure, they can thrive on their respective region. For those of you tuning in, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope that you're having a good time and things are flowing as best as you can. And this is Andre Van Zark here, talking to you about women in sports and about the AU Pro Volleyball and any sport you want. So if you're tuning in and if you want to stay and chit chat, you can chat down below and let me know all the good stuff that you have to say about women in sports and who's your favorite female player. We can also talk about how great the Las Vegas Aces are playing. They are phenomenal. I haven't kept that much with the WNBA at this point in time because I've been watching some other stuff to report. But I've been having a blast seeing the Aces doing what they're doing. Last season, overall, we had the New York Liberties take everything, but I think this year we're gonna see something different. Um, I like to see the Aces take it. It wouldn't be a bad idea. Even though just off the record, I'm an Indiana fan and I'm a um, Minnesota fan. I like those two teams a lot, but we have to give it to uh, the Aces this season, this year in particular, in general, because they've been playing great the whole year, and they have reached to this point in a way that is unnatural. So, if you like the Las Vegas Aces, um, I highly recommend you to continue watching some of that, and we can actually, if you like, check around the standings right now. Right. This tomorrow at 8 p.m. we're gonna have the Las Vegas Aces versus the Phoenix Mercury's final game. And the final game's gonna happen tomorrow. Game number 4. So if you're willing to watch that, I highly recommend you because you're gonna have a blast watching them. Trust me, you will. Then on Sunday, um, for Game 5, we're gonna see the Phoenix again, and I really hope to see the Aces continue because we've seen nothing but exceptional game. So before we get ourselves ahead, let me check right here uh, the standings and all that of the WNBA, how things are flowing. All right, all right, here we go. Here's the finals hub. So far we have to the finals Indiana, we have the Phoenix Mercuries, and then we had the Minnesota Lynx. So this is for the people that haven't kept up at all watching the women's NBA. That was the first round, best out of 3, and then in the semifinals, best out of 5. We've had the Phoenix destroyed Minnesota, and then Las Vegas. Unfortunately, they destroyed one of my favorites, Indiana. So two of my favorite teams were desecrated really hard. And from there, we had now all these games happening from Las Vegas versus the Phoenix. And that is something that I've been enjoying watching so far, and I hope that Las Vegas Aces can actually do something, So if you're willing to get yourself into some more of these Las Vegas Aces games, then I highly recommend you to do so. It's one of those things that I enjoy, and if you see at least the highlights, you're gonna see how phenomenal they are. So that's how things have been going. So I was not expecting the Aces to go that far, but they did. Again. I said I'm an Indiana Fever fan. I was torn. I was torn because I'm an Indiana Fever fan, and I also like Minnesota. There were two of the teams that were going head to head with versus Phoenix and Las Vegas, and that was making me torn in different levels. And I think that many of you might be going through the same things every now and then when you're watching, any sport, and you seem to just have this moment in time where both of your favorite teams are going head to head, or both of your teams are in the same bracket, and you're like, oh my god, what am I supposed to do? Because it's inevitable nowadays with all these bombardment of teams, and the way they draft the players. You do get to have this conundrum where you like two teams at the same time in the same season, you know, and you can change next season probably. But yeah. So anyone that's tuning in right now, what is your prediction? Will Phoenix get the last game, or will Las Vegas take the last game? I want you to let me know down below in the in this poll. I'm gonna ask you the poll. Who takes it? Aces or Phoenix? All right, bum. Put that in there. Bum. Start poll. All right. I want you all to just reply right there. Who takes it? Who takes it? The Aces or Phoenix? I want to actually get your opinions right now. Who takes it? Who takes the whole thing? Is it the Aces or is it Phoenix? You know, I have a really big hunch really big hunch that it's gonna be all about um, the Aces. You know. But I would like to, while you guys take a little bit of a time to answer that poll, um, which take you a few. I understand that. Um, I'm gonna read a news that was posted 6 days ago, and I want you all to dive into it. 6 days ago, and I want you all to dive into it. Uh, all right. 6 days ago, and I want. Perfect. All right, here we go. So one of the things that has been happening in and posted 6 days ago, WNBA commissioner denies alleged statement saying Caitlin Clark should be grateful to league for success. WNBA commissioner calls Clark's transformational player while addressing player allegations. We all know Caitlin Clark is one of the biggest women's NBA player right now. She gets all the commotion from her rookie year till now. She has been getting a lot of commotion. So, Commissioner Kathy Agelbert expressed a conversation revealed by player Nafisa Collier, one of my favorite players, who alleged Algebird said Caitlin Clark should be grateful she makes 60 million off the court because without that platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. That is a thing. Is a thing that you know it's been going on for so long that many players, especially women's stars, are been getting ahead of themselves and been like, you know, throwing out there some conundrum that we should be earning so and yada yada, and that's the thing that happens a lot. And I wouldn't like for that to be a thing all the time, but it is a thing. It is a thing, and sadly, women are a little bit undervalued in a when it comes to their pay rate. But at the same time, why would most women complain about how much they're getting paid? Instead, they should complain more about I should be better. I should do this and do that. Because the better you play, the more you're gonna uh, and the more you make the league stand out, the more you're gonna get paid eventually. It's all a domino effect. But if you think too much about the green, you're gonna plateau. You're gonna plateau at some point because the ones above you are gonna go like, hey, turn it down. Hey, that's not how you do it. That's not the way. That's not the way. So, Elbert said at a press conference Friday she did not make those comments. Obviously, I did not make those comments. Caitlin has been a transformational player in this league. She's been a great representative for the game. She's brought to the game. Elgerbert said, you know, the Indiana Fever games alone last season, they were breaking records of how much people were watching. And if you ask me, I used to watch women's NBA as a casual person here and there because I was more into the women's the ladies PGA golf the LPGA. I was more into that. I was watching MLB. I was watching every now and then casually some NBA. But what I was most was boxing and UFC. But ever since Kaylin Clark became a member and a player and an athlete for the women's NBA, poof, my eyes have been clinched right there, clicking right back and forth, watching a lot of the games. I don't watch all the games because I'm not an avid women's NBA watcher, but I do enjoy that because as a sports journalist, I do have to report as much as I can. So the thing is that Kaylin Clark has brought millions, tens of millions of new watchers to this whole women's NBA franchise. That's been a thing. That's been a thing for generations to come. Because we haven't seen this sort of attention to the women's NBA since Kaylin Clark. Sure, we can talk about many other great players. Since the '90s about. There's lots of players. We got Cheryl, we got Tamika, we got Laura, we got Diana, which she recently Sue Bird, we got Cadence Parker, Lisa Leslie, a great basketball player from the '90s. We got Cynthia Cooper Dyke. We can talk about players that have revolutionized the whole sport in general. There is this. We can talk about it. We can talk about this as much as we want. All these players that have made a huge impact in the sport in general. That is the thing. That is a thing, for sure. You know. But ever since Kaylin Clark became on the women's NBA, we can't deny that even people that did not care about women's NBA have been watching a lot. We call it the Clark fever, or at least I call it the Clark fever. You know. So Collier also alleged that said players on their knees, thanking their lucky stars for the media's rights deal that I got them. And one of the things that Caitlin Clark has been grateful in many shapes and forms when it comes to how she's being exposed and how she's playing and how much she's earning through the women's NBA franchise is the fact that ESPN, one of the biggest companies in the USA for broadcasting sports, whether in radio or TV or streaming, that they were broadcast as much as they could from Indiana Fever games, from the Indiana Fever games, and that was, I think it was like 48 more of the games were going to be Indiana Fever, and they were going to leave the other women's NBA games to be broadcasted on TNT Sports, on ABC Sports, presented by ESPN, and so on and so forth. That was the dealio, and that caused a lot of commotion back in the day before the season started. Um, that caused a lot of commotion, and Kaylin Clark, if she does a single word or saying that she complains or that, she is being, in my humble opinion, ungrateful. Because you know what $16 million is? That's a lot. You know, why would you want more than that? If you want more, some other athletes do, and invest invest that money somewhere else. You know, keep playing your lovely basketball, and then at the same time, while you're playing that lovely basketball game, you have an investment somewhere else that's generating you some passive income, and you have enough money to do at least put a few thousand in the investment that will eventually duplicate. If you do it right, obviously. Because I've heard stories of athletes being trampled real bad with their money. You know, so there's a lot of inaccuracy out there, though. Social media and all that's reporting. Engelbert said, a lot of reporting, a lot of inaccuracy about what I said and what I didn't say. That's it, It's like the halftime with Bad Bunny. I'm from Puerto Rico. I don't listen to Bad Bunny's music in general. Um, but I'm grateful that we're having some Puerto Rican representation within the NFL and all that stuff. And the thing is that even though I'm not in favor of Bad Bunny's music. There's a lot of false uh, news on social media and in various online newsletters and whatnot that Bad Bunny was canceled. And when I did a little bit of research, it was all fake news on social media and on online newspapers. Why would they do this? I don't like the Bad Bunny's music as much as the next guy. Um, but why boycott something? If the NFL is doing it, they have reasons. And at this point in time, Bad Bunny's a big ass artist. He has a lot of followers, and all those followers, even people that don't give a damn about the NFL Super Bowl, they're gonna watch it. That's the thing. The thing. There was a point in time, live, where I really didn't care about watching sports in the sense of being glued, watching every single game, understanding the stats and all that. There was a point in time when I wasn't onto that at that level, you know. And Bad Bunny being part of this, uh, it's gonna bring lots of viewers that don't even watch NFL at all, and I myself have been guilty of that. I remember I'm a huge drummer and musician and rock star. I like a lot of rock and all that kind of stuff. And I remember, but by that time, where I was really into sports, in that sense, um, that I heard that Red Hot Chili Pepper was going to do the halftime, and I was so glued to that game just so I can catch um, Red Hot Chili Pepper. Same with that point in time when this guy that sings "Blinding Lights," The Weekend. Same with The Weekend. When The Weekend performed, I was like glued in there. And there's been countless of times where I've only cared about the Super Bowl just because of the halftime. Rihanna, another one. Rihanna was a good one. And that is the thing. So sometimes certain sports, they know what they're doing by drafting and contracting certain players because they know these players are gonna be eye catching, and lots of people are gonna be in. And Kalen Clark is one of those catchy players that once you see, some people have called her the Stephen Curry of the women's NBA. You might fight me as much as the next guy. That she's not as great as Stephen Curry because of this or that. It don't matter. It don't matter what you think. It don't matter how things are. But the thing is that that's a thing. Kalen Clark uh, is one of those players that has exceptional skills to the point that millions or tenth of millions tune in just to see Kalen Clark play. My dad is one of those that doesn't give too much of a damn about women's NBA. He cares more about MLB and NBA than anything else in boxing. And every time he catches randomly on the TV a Kalen Clark game, he just tunes in there for at least half a quarter, you know? And that's to say much, And I like that. I like that people tune in more to women's basketball more than ever. We've seen an increase also in the March Madness, you know? And Kaylin Clark comes from the NCAA, you know? So Elder later said, "I'm disheartened. I'm human too. I have a family. I have two kids who are devastated by these comments. So all I say is that it's obviously been a tough week, and I just think there's a lot of inaccuracy out there. Still, Elderbird acknowledged that if players don't feel appreciated, then she has to do better. So I was disheartened to hear that some players feel the league and that I personally do not care about them or listen to them, Elderbird said before game 1 of the NBA Finals Friday night. So if the players in the Ws don't feel appreciated and valued from the league, and we have to do better, and I have to do better. So the women's NBA and its players unions, the women's the WNBPA, sorry about that, excuse me, are in negotiations for a new collective bargaining agreement. These players' associations and the women's NBA agreed to an 8-year agreement in 2020, but last year the Women's National Basketball Player Association voted to opt out of the agreement early. So the current agreement is due to expire October 31st. This was reported from Fox Sports, written by Jackson Thompson for Fox News. So, what are your opinions on people just outright saying blabber about what women uh, do or not do, or what the commissioner of the women's NBA says or not says, and people start throwing false rumors and false information out there. And the sad part is that there is a vast majority of people, and I mean a lot of people, that actually um, don't do research, and they end up believing every single word they hear on social media. That is a given fact. I've seen people with my own face believe fake news with their whole heart and actually argue and be all greedy about it, and yell at you when you don't believe that what they're reading is true. You know, I'm one that actually does a little bit of research. Maybe I read an article, and if I don't believe too much about what the article is saying, I might go to YouTube and do some video research. And if I don't find too much information on video researching, I go to Google, and obviously, like everybody else, I start using AI too to do some research, and I go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, to the point that I understand at the end of the day, if that information and that data has to be really on point. And that's something that I always thrived as a journalist. I've always thrived at a radio journalist, a sports journalist. I've always been thriving about that, and that is something that most people of a certain group of people don't do. There is a lot of people that believe false information, false data. That's a thing, and we're not here to hide the sun with our own hands, because that's impossible. That's impossible. Those are things that happen, and it's not just on the elderly people that believe this and that. It's also on some certain young people that haven't done their research correctly, or they don't care about doing research in general. And when I say do research, it's not that you're gonna go and do a big investigation on this and that. No, it's that you're gonna just do a little bit of maybe a Google search, or search different sources, just to understand what is happening here and there. You know, so that is how things flow in many cases. And I encourage you, if you read an article somewhere, or you saw a video of someone saying something, or you hear a podcast or a radio show or a stream or something, and they say something, might as well check the information before you take it as face value. And if you take that as face value, and you aren't doing your well put together research, I'm gonna not shame on you, but I'll be disappointed. Individually, I'll be disappointed. So that's the thing. That's how it all goes. And there is false information everywhere. So, anyways, the AU Pro Volleyball has been playing amazing. Um, Thompson and Hoffman have been doing great with their match, and I've been enjoying almost all the players. Um, Actually, all the players. I love the AU Pro Ball. I like all the athletes on limited sports, the basketball, the softball, and the volleyball, and they are planning to increase to more sports. To make it a big association. So the thing is that I can't wait for more games to happen. But Shampoo is one of the great ones. Pinoy is another great one. We have the one I mentioned from the latest video that I did. Um, um, Cooper's another good one, and those are the players that I think that they're playing phenomenal. I would love for De La Cruz Mejia to actually increase her game strategies and play because she's not doing or performing correctly. And when I say that, it's not because she's not playing and doing her part, because everybody's playing. But the thing is that if you don't play correctly, if you don't play correctly, you're not going to progress. You might be doing great, but for me, correctly means that you're getting all the kills, the blocks, and the aces on a consistent basis. Um, and then about Valentina or Valentine, um, I would hope that she was gonna play better. She's the head captain of the Puerto Rican volleyball team, and on the the national team, because there's a few teams out there, but she's the head captain of the national team. And like I said, I want to see my lovely Valentine to play better, but that's gonna be probably later on in the season. So if you haven't watched any game from the AU Pro Volleyball League, I highly recommend you to do so because it is as phenomenal as watching any other women's sports out there. And there's high stakes to be taken there. And yeah. So if you like women in sports and you like to empower women in sports, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Adios, amigos. Bye.